know if you guys could hear that.
I already opened mine, unfortunately.
Dang.
But it didn't count anyway. It's a non-alcoholic beverage.
My goodness.
I'm muted.
Oh,
I've been
wait.
muted the whole
Yeah,
time.
there you go.
That's
Yeah, I was about
Let's
to
go.
ask Matt. Matt, can you hear
Like
Jordan?
the curse
I-
spread.
hell yeah. Nope.
Yeah.
So my crack didn't even happen on stream. So you know what?
Mm.
That's okay.
You just got my little bottle whisper.
I got your little bottle whisper. It was pretty loud, actually. I was impressed.
Yeah.
Oh, was it? Nice.
Yeah,
It was a bottle hisper, really.
yeah. Hisper.
That's a word.
Ryan, how you doing today? Oh,
All right. Oh, I'm lagging a little bit.
yeah.
A little bit.
that was the lag. That was just
Yeah,
the
that was
lag.
the lag. That wasn't.
That was
wasn't
just the
you.
lag. Yeah, don't worry about it. So what are we talking about today? Space Marines?
Yeah, man. We're talking about you know, Space Marines are dead, right? Firstborn Space Marines are the only real Space Marines.
Oh,
And they're
I'm
dying.
holding out the good fight. Man.
Define the good fight.
Y'all have bets tied into this on some level, don't you? Let me,
Yeah.
I have a document. Let me pull up the document. Hold on.
Well, all right. Like the good fight is, I like the old guys, and I don't think that they're ever going to truly be like those old guys. Can't play them anymore. Don't play with those old guys anymore. Like that's the good fight, right? So, in the short term, what that means is I really like scouts, and I'm sad that sniper scouts are transforming because I got like
Scouts?
25 of them.
Scouts still exist. The Scout
They
Sniper
do.
Squad, dead.
Yeah,
Has
what
been
is this?
rolled. Yeah.
I missed that article. What is the state of future scouts? They're going Primaris, I assume.
They're as
They're
far as
not
I understand it, the
Primaris.
same as like the Terminators, and that they can be Primaris or Firstborn, quote unquote.
Okay.
There's not like
I
a
hope
keyword or
that's-
anything that distinctifies them. They're just proper scaled, and one of them in the 5 can take a sniper rifle.
Yeah. So the standard
No.
Scout
Oh.
Squad still exists, but the Scout Sniper Squad doesn't exist anymore.
Are they Tacticus or whatever?
I mean, the books,
No, there's
we'll find
there's
out
Scout.
in 2 weeks, I guess. Yeah.
Tacticus is like
it-
the mark of armor. It's Mark 10 armor.
Right.
It's called Tacticus.
But I mean, it's the mark of armor, but it's essentially a Primaris keyword. There's no like,
No, not really, because there's Gravis and Phobos, and
Okay.
yeah, that's like the specific kind of armor. Tacticus is just
Well,
like
anyway.
intercessors and stuff like that, like the standard Mark 10 armor.
Y'all have 2 bets that I recorded, one of which is already propagated, and so we can determine.
Oh,
whether or
one's
not-
elapsed. Oh, okay.
One's elapsed.
All right, what was
Okay.
that one?
Well, it's half
Suppressors are good.
elapsed.
Suppressors are good.
All right. Actually, no, it hasn't. It hasn't. Oh no, yeah, it has. Okay. Well, let me just read it. So Matt said, Matt said the Space Marine Codex 2.0 in 9th edition, or the next, which I guess would be the Codex in
the
10th
upcoming
edition.
codex. Yeah.
The upcoming Codex, suppressors will turn out to be really good. And then there was an addendum to that, December. It says 11. It must be 21. This is old, man.
Yeah, this has been
that
ongoing.
They'll just be good. Not really good anymore. They'll just be good. And then
I
Jordan
think
said
they're
they'll
gonna
still
be
be
good.
really bad. And then he has an addendum in 2022, which must be when the other addendum was, where you said they'll still be okay. So basically, Matt says suppressors will be good in 10th edition. Jordan says they'll be okay. Because they weren't good in 2.0 9th edition, right?
There was no 2.0 9th edition.
Yeah, it was just the single
Oh,
book.
I thought there
and-
was. Oh, okay. There was like rumors that there was going to be.
There
or
was
something?
rumors that there was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the
Yeah.
bigger one, that one has no stakes. So that one's kind of boring. So we don't care about
Yeah,
that.
and we don't
Throw that one.
we don't really have a good metric for it anyway. We're just kind of like guessing.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
and
I
it's
guess
also
you could
not
measure how
related
many
to like
make
what we're
it into,
talking
like-
about.
Yeah.
The first one is directly related. Matt said in 11th edition, it just says 11th edition. I'm guessing maybe Codex, but he says there will be a non-Legends Space Marine Firstborn Captain, which I assume to mean has the Firstborn keyword.
No, so non-primaris is where we landed
All right.
on and talking
All right,
about that.
So
Spoilers.
just
We
doesn't
already
have.
get that in 10th edition. Just so you know.
Jordan says false, and the loser buys a dreadnought.
I forgot that we were the whole ass dread.
Yeah.
So, spoiler alert, in the 10th edition upcoming Space Marine Codex, the captain, lieutenant, all those like character data sheets just got merged into one. There is no longer distinction between Primaris and Firstborn and whatever.
Now, can a so here's my question, which we'll get into like whether or not we love or hate Primaris, which is a complicated question. Can one of these captains get into like a Rhino?
Yeah.
Or do we know yet?
They currently can't they?
Yeah,
but like the current Primaris one can't, right?
No, he can get in there now. You can put like Hellblasters and drop pods. Like they.
Maybe the Rhino didn't get updated.
I thought Tacticus couldn't get into like Rhinos and Razorbacks.
I know
Land Raiders now
got updated. Yeah.
I'm pulling up my Games Workshop
Space Marine,
Plus,
Rhino, transport.
Warhammer Plus.
Yeah. It can't transport Tacticus, Phobos, Gravis. So that's basically saying it can't transport Primaris.
But
okay, so
the codex.
I mean, we don't know.
The codex might change that.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't know yet. We'll just have to see.
Well, so what we do know is that the codex is getting rid of the distinction between like those characters as separate characters. Like, there's no longer a captain and a Primaris captain. It's just captain. It's all one. It's been merged into one datasheet.
Yeah. There's also, I mean, so they are doing it with like the armor types, right? So you've got Terminator captain, I'm pretty sure, Gravis captain.
Yeah.
They're separating it, and like Phobos captain and stuff like that. It's armor types. It's not Primaris Rubicon stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
So I guess we'll have to see if that new captain datasheet has the like Tacticus keyword or whatever.
Right.
Because I guess if it has Tacticus, Gravis, or Phobos, that is like still implying that this is a Primaris unit. Which, in that case, would mean they are just ditching the fucking Firstborn characters altogether.
Yeah, that would be Firstborn are basically gone.
Yeah.
In a sense. I guess technically you could be like, oh, well, it's a Firstborn in
so they're
Mark
not
10 armor.
They're not getting rid of all of the Firstborn units. So, like, Assault Squads are gone. Assault Squads are getting replaced by the new Assault Intercessor jump pack guys.
Yeah.
Right.
So Van Vets are interesting because the foot Van Vets are going away, but the jump pack Van Vets are staying.
Yeah, that is pretty weird.
I assume that's just because Stern Guard are supposed to just be like your foot vets now.
Yeah.
There was a lot of overlap.
Aren't the Stern Guard currently? They're not distinctly Primaris, like
they're in Tacticus armor.
They're in Tacticus. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're.
Because I know like some of the models have like the Mark.
I don't know if they're like
8,
Tacticus keyworded, but let's see. Stern Guard, Veteran Squad.
I know when they released them, they talked about
they're
how some of them
Tacticus
are
keyword.
old Marines who have modified their armor.
Well, so they're like. I think Primaris Marines, but some of them use like pieces of Firstborn armor. Like there's the one that straight up just has the what is it, Mark 9, Mark 8 helmet?
Mark 7.
Mark 7.
And
I
think in one of the Warcom articles they actually mentioned that they've got old like Mark 6 or whatever helmets on the new sprue for their Stern Guard because you know they're showing off that new like command squad pack that's like it's like 4 characters all bundled together.
Yeah. That new Stern Guard sprue looks good. There's a lot of like customization options on there, which I'm very happy
I
about.
like the cloaks they have also because it matches like the Black Templar perfectly. Which
Me too, because I play Dark Angels, you know.
Yeah, Marines and cloaks are the best. I think both Jordan and I can agree on that.
Yeah. Now, whether or not you have a hood or a helmet, that's a different conversation. I'm a hood guy.
Oh.
That's a good point. I like mine helmetless. Like if you have a really important role, I like you to be helmetless. But
See, I just don't want to paint
Blood
faces.
Angels like their Marines to have abs.
True,
armor.
sculpted on
Oh, yeah.
abs.
Batman treatment, man. So they'll even give him the
Yeah.
Batman nipples, the tactical nipples
Yeah,
on,
they
on
like
the
the-
sculpts
The George
and
Clooney
everything.
nipples. Hell yeah.
Oh my god, the old what do you call them? Sanguinary Guard, man. That's such a. I've built like 15 of those suckers, and I love every single one. I think I got a box that I haven't even touched of them yet, just hanging out. I love every single one of them. That kit is amazing. I know eventually they're going to primarisize that kit, and I'm going to be sad because I don't think it's going to have as much flavor as that kit does.
So-
There's just so much cool
Yeah.
shit in there.
Here, are they gonna primarisize it, or are they just going to true scale them? Right? Because they're not. I don't know what. They're kind of like in their own distinctive kind of armor, right? So like the
Yeah.
kind of armor they're wearing doesn't really matter, and that
That's a good
seems
point.
like they're not really calling things Primaris anymore. They're just saying like this is a Space Marine wearing this kind of armor.
That's true.
Yeah. Which I like. I like that direction that they're heading.
Yeah, I do too.
Like,
I wish they would stop with the like, oh, Tacticus boys can't ride in a rhino for some fucking reason. I wish they would stop
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But I almost just threw my beer. Sorry,
do that.
I get heated,
You
man.
get angry,
I get
yeah.
mad.
so I mean,
Anger
I
out
guess
over
this
there
is a
exploding
good point to kind of like roll it back and talk about how we feel about Primaris in general and how they rolled it out. If that's something that we want to talk about.
Yeah, we can. So like, to be perfectly honest, I wasn't really, I wasn't like involved in the game at all when that was happening. So I don't know a ton about that. So I'll kind of let you two speak on that more.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Well, I guess one thing that's important, I feel like it's important to understand, I like the Primaris models. I like their scale. I like the stat changes that happen to them.
hmm
All that's great. That they're more Space Marine than Space Marines have ever been. You know, like when I was playing 3rd edition and had like 2nd edition models, and they're like the size of like a guardsman. It was kind of like, okay, it doesn't really seem right, but you know, whatever. It's a game. So I like that. Lore wise, I hate Primaris so much.
Oh man, I like them.
I keep hearing that a lot, and I don't really get why people hate it so much. I guess.
So
Because I like did some reading, some like light reading about the whole thing that went down with like, you know, Cawl and shit. I don't really get why it's that big of an issue from a lore perspective, to be honest. Because it seems like after
So-
10,000 years, of course they're gonna do something to make their Marines better.
So, like, when I got into the hobby in 3rd edition, and pretty much every edition until was it 8th, or they brought Primaris, or was it 7th?
They came in at the end of 7th, I believe.
Into
Like
7th.
the tail.
Okay.
It was like either the very cusp of 8th or right as 8th dropped. But basically, like the first Primaris were like in that Dark Imperium box that was Death Guard versus Primaris Space Marines.
Right. So, before Primaris, the way Space Marines were presented, and even after Primaris, in some books, they're still presented this way. It was like Space Marines were this massive accomplishment that took a lot of work and like this like, you know, super brain that the Emperor had and his ability to weave technology and essentially magic together to create the Primarchs first, and then the Space Marines from like their gene seed and all that. And like he went through, you know, Thunder Warriors were like a prototype that failed, you know, with asterisks on that. We'll talk about that later. And so, and it's put forward like this masterful achievement that essentially humanity had been trying to make Space Marines with all their gene manipulation for their entire like history since the Dark Age technology, and even during the Dark Age technology, couldn't do it. Weren't able to do it. Emperor comes along, he makes the Space Marines, and they're the thing that allows the Imperium to exist. So all of a sudden, some tech priest making better versions
All of a
Space
sudden, it's
Marines.
10,000 years, by the way.
Yeah. Fuck you mean all of a sudden?
Okay, maybe not all of a
Quick
sudden,
flash.
but a regular mortal tech priest dude just being like, hey, I did a better job than the Emperor. Is just kind of like just knocks all that, makes all that lore, all that setup pointless. It'd be like in Lord of the Rings, they throw the one ring into the volcano, and then Sauron's like, I had the one ring plus one in my basement for like this whole time, and the one ring didn't matter. So it's great you burned that up, but I've got this other thing. Doesn't matter.
So
it just kind of takes the wind out of all the lore.
I do hear you on that. So the Emperor didn't just do first Thunder Warriors and then Space Marines, right? Like the Grey Knights are supposedly using the Emperor's own gene seed, right? Like that's their kind of like claim. That, and then the Custodes are arcane genetic alchemy, right? So it's kind of like I think the formula's like amount of resources that it took versus the likelihood of survival for the subject and kind of the mass producibility hit the trifecta with the Space Marine, right? I think that's kind of like where that happened, because he made the Primarchs, and the Primarchs, like, he literally like made bets with the devils, or with the Chaos Gods in order to make that happen, and kind of like stole fire from him, like Prometheus style, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're
Custodians...
downplaying Cawl a lot too. Like Cawl is. He is.
He's not just some tech
priest,
priest,
right? Like he's basically a Primarch for the Adeptus Mechanicus. Like, dude, no one knows exactly what he's up to. He could be Chaos. He could be fucking. What's the group that John Grammaticus is working with? The not the Cabal? Or,
yeah.
Is it the Cabal? Yeah, the Cabal.
He is. At one point,
right,
but the Cabal gets wiped. Spoilers. I mean, the books have been out for a long time.
I think, but so there's something weird going on with Cawl. Like Cawl has as much like political and honestly tactical power as probably like Gilliman.
Homie straight up handed Gilliman an AI, and Gilliman said, "Okay."
Yeah, all that's great. We can make humans can make AI and stuff. There's been masterful Mechanicus, type people in the history of the human race in 40K. Some that are, their entire focus for thousands of years was genetics and like making genetic warriors.
Right.
I'm not saying Cawl is like some just dime rate dummy off on the side. He's a masterful Adeptus Mechanicus guy, but he's not the Emperor. The Emperor had a hand in the Custodes. Custodes, I believe, were actually around before the Primarchs. In fact, yeah, they were. But they were just not. They were not mass producible. Was the problem with them? He needed something that could spread out across the galaxy, and they just took too much time.
But Sean
Grey Knights
is making the point that I think is the most relevant, and that he wasn't just building them from nothing. Yeah, he was building off of the Emperor's work that he had already done. The Emperor had done like 90% of the work, and then got smoked.
Yeah, like Einstein.
It took
right?
the course of 10,000 years to take what he had done and then improve upon it. After 10,000 fucking years, they got like 5 to 10% better.
They tried that. There's the Cursed Founding was when they tried that.
Yeah.
Previously, they tried to modify the gene seeds, and they got some arguably cool chapters like the Black Dragons.
The Black Dragons, dude, hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So actually, that's a good point.
I guess the deeper issue is, at least when I was getting into 40K, one of the like found cornerstones of the 40K universe was the stagnation of technology, and how the older something was, the better it was, because they had lost the ability. It's like the whole theme of the Mechanicus is them not progressing technologically. And if they do get something, it's usually something new. It's usually that they found something old and figured out how to reproduce it. They're not like inventing stuff, and that whole sort of feel sets the grim, dark atmosphere for me. If they're being able to like all of a sudden like make better Space Marines, kind of, it takes away that air of desperation, the darkness, like the constant impending doom that makes 40K what it is. It's like if they can make Primaris Marines, then they're going to make Secondaris Marines at some point, and then eventually they're going to have an army of Primarchs essentially running around, and that's the end. That's the end of 40K. That's the end of the story.
Well, they're waking up enough Primarchs.
Humanity
on their
wins.
That's the end times, baby.
So
we're the humanity is the Skaven of the 40K universe, right?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I forget where I saw that. That's kind of we're just hairless rats.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's my biggest bone with it.
I would say that there's been people meddling with it before, like even in the old lore of like Corvus Corax, right? When his legion got shattered, he was trying to rebuild them, and they had to retcon this. But originally, the lore was, hey, he did it, and then the Alpha Legion messed it up, so he actually did it.
So he didn't do it. What went down is the Emperor was like, hey, Corvus, your legion's been decimated. Come back to Terra. There's something I want you to take, and I want you to use. And the Emperor sent him into a vault. Now, and so there's some caveats on my issues with it previously. We'll get to those. And this one is tied into that. Corvus went to this vault, and he was able to navigate it, and he got to this like gene research that the Emperor had done to make better Space Marines. And he took that and took the instructions that the Emperor had given him, some of which were like transmitted psychically, if I remember correctly, and he went back to I forgot the name of his planet. He went back to his planet. He set up the facility and started making Space Marines that were slightly better, but the big thing about it was you could make a Space Marine in like a day or something. You could take a recruit, inject him, and he'd be like, bloop, 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 and be a Space Marine, fully functional. And then the Alpha Legion came in and fucked it for everybody.
Did they make that sound too?
Corvus doesn't. Yeah.
It's like Mario eating a mushroom, basically.
And they called them the Raptors.
Yeah.
I don't know if they retconned it. It's in the Horus Heresy books.
So
it's
according to my understanding is they rewound that a bit to where even though Corvus Corax was trying his hardest and got like some of them up on their feet, and they were like testing them and everything, and they were performing better than like the survivors that they had, it wasn't powerful enough for him to control or like make that kind of thing, basically. And so his hubris fell in on him, right? And that makes it a very tragic story versus an external force coming in and then being like, hey, we're gonna tinker, and you actually did it right, but we're gonna fuck it up, you know. So it makes it more of a tragic story.
I haven't finished the Horus Heresy yet, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get to the second half of like that whole story with the gene manipulation. As I understand it, he gets the stuff, he implements it, and like they get a few batches out that work and they're fine. Then the Alpha Legion agents corrupt it and they turn into like bird people, like beastmen.
Yeah, they gotta lock him in the basement and then like hold him.
They lock him in the basement for a little bit until the Alpha Legion attacks, and then they're like, "Scrah, we can help you." And they're like, "All right, you're our brothers." They let him out, and they fight, and then they use them on other planets. They attack a Emperor's Children planet at one point, and they have like these groups of like Raven Guard beastmen descend down and attack the city.
Am I a Raven Guard fan now? I might be a Raven Guard fan now.
Yeah, so they have like these hybrid Raven Guard beastmen, and he kept all the research, the corrupted. There was like sort of like a gene seed, essentially, like a gene seed. I don't know the right word for it, but like a catalyst that you could put your gene seed into and then make Marines with the really fast way, and that's what got corrupted. And he took that and he kept it. And my understanding is from like just things I've read around in the lore that later on, after all those events, he's like, I did it once, I can do it again, I can fix the problem. And that's when like things go really wrong, and he like his hubris gets the best of him, and he like kind of loses it for a bit, is my understanding. So it's like,
I mean,
he comes back
still
to it.
Lost it. Like he's gone.
He's still lost it.
Yeah.
May or may not be a bird demon. I've read.
He's not. I got hard opinions on that shit.
I'm pretty sure.
That
Memes aside, I'm pretty
That's a
sure it's
different-
been like confirmed that he's not a demon specifically,
Yeah.
but he is a big fucking bird monster that's harassing,
I mean,
he was harassing Lorgar in the war, and is
Like,
no longer.
In the short story specifically, I think there's a Terminator captain that's like, is this like a greater demon that's betrayed like our pact? And he's like, that's no demon. And this is Lorgar talking about his brother. He's like, that's no demon out there. I know what that is.
Yeah.
And so it's like,
I don't know about the whole bird demon stuff. I haven't read that stuff yet. I've
He's a
heard
big
story
bird,
reports about
but
it.
he's not a demon.
But he,
shadow
the
form
first
looked
time he
like
makes
the
special
most scary
marines is different from when he tries to fix them later, as far as I understand.
But Ferrus
I'll
Manus
read that
is a
eventually.
Necron.
Oh yeah, Ferrus Manus is going to reincarnate
is this just
Necrodermis.
the Troll Matt episode?
So here's one of the caveats to my dislike of Primaris. There's two scenarios which could be the canon.
Well, we have a big
reason they
new
came about.
Belisarius Cawl book coming up soon, so
Hey.
We might find out. One, chances are the Emperor has more of that different projects he was working on in Space Marines laying around. Like there could be other tech caches around, and maybe the Primaris are the result of either the Emperor directly influencing Belisarius Cawl to like tell him like, hey, somehow sending him a message, say like, go get this, use it, or Belisarius Cawl finding it, realizing what it was, and then using it. That's one scenario that makes Primaris a little better to me, because it's like they still have that, for lack of a better term, divine sort of source to them.
oh my god,
The
the book
other-
I was thinking of came out months ago.
Oh my goodness.
We got to get to reading then.
We gotta start a book club.
Yo, let us
Sit
know in the
around
comments. You all want a Slam Sector book club? Let's go.
Analog slam sector, baby.
Slam a log. Nope.
The other thing, and this theory is probably gonna give me some heat, but that makes me okay with Primaris, is if we go back to Babu Dakhel.
Oh, here we go.
I was about to
Otherwise
joke
known
with
as-
that name.
Otherwise known as Eric Tyrannus, the Thunder Warrior who in one of the books fixes the Thunder Warrior gene seed. It makes it basically stable.
Okay.
So where, because like their problem was like they would decay over time, like rapidly. Their bodies just break down, and I guess they would just like kind of turn to mush internally and die. But he made a Thunder Warrior gene seed that didn't have that defect. And Thunder Warriors, based on what I've read, are bigger, stronger than Space Marines, but they don't have like the same mental stuff. Space Marines have all that very good coordination with each other and like tactical mindsets. Thunder Warriors didn't really have that. So if Cawl somehow integrated a chimeric gene seed between Space Marine and Thunder Warrior,
Maybe that's what he did.
That-
Do we know
we don't know.
like
what
anything about like what his process was? We don't know anything. We just know that he
just-
did it.
he had a
It's all behind a
He had
big
a s-
fucking veil.
yeah.
We just
like,
know he
his
had like a
memory,
fucking
as far as I
planet full of
understand it-
Primaris boys.
Yeah, his memories, as far as I understand it, is like he like just doesn't remember how he has things. Like,
Oh my
as
god,
far
he
as I
doesn't
understand,
even remember?
Yeah, he doesn't remember how he got the armor for Gilliman. If I'm correct, I haven't read the book where like he gets the armor to Gilliman and Yvrain and all of them show up. There were some theories.
I need to
like,
read
the
through that
Eldar
whole
had
like
a
Dark
hand in it.
Imperium series.
It's
Yeah.
really
I've
good.
read, like,
They actually had to
cliff
retcon
notes of
something
it,
in that
basically.
too.
Oh my god.
What was it? Well, never mind. I'm not
It
gonna
was
say that.
involved.
But anyway.
Was it Yvrain being Gilliman's GF?
Oh Jesus, no.
Yeah, the big titty goth Eldar girlfriend.
big titty
So,
Xeno.
I
girlfriend,
mean, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna reveal something. I had played 40k for a while, and I'd
Okay.
stopped, and I had like this tower of shame that I was slowly selling off, and I was like, I just don't have time for this. I'm done with it. And Matt was kind of the same way. Like we talked about 40k occasionally, like reminiscing. We're like, oh yeah, that was fun back then, but we're never gonna do that again. And then surfing memes one day, I started all of a sudden running across all these memes about Gilliman being back and having a big titty goth Eldar girlfriend. And that's I was like, what in the fuck is this? There's too many of them for it not to have some sort of connection to the lore. I just gotta know. And then that's what led me down the rabbit hole that got me back into 40K. Was big tittied Eldar goth girlfriend.
And I think people are shipping them. Go ahead.
Oh, so I dug into it, and from what I can tell, it's like he basically is like, I respect you, but we can't be friends. There's no, as far as I can tell, there's not like a relationship.
He didn't
He's
actively
just like,
kill her on sight. That's as romantic as he got with her.
Yeah, like he has a respect for like that group of Eldar, but he also, and like they both understand, like, as much as I want to work with you, I can't, because the Imperium is like messed up. Because he wasn't happy with the state of the Imperium when he came back, as far as I understand it. But
no, he like went into a deep depression about how fucking awful everything is.
Yeah,
like the whole ecclesiarchy. I don't think he was ready for that.
The fucking what?
Yeah, he also hates the High Lords of Terra. I'm pretty sure. Like he despises them. It's really,
I mean, honestly, who doesn't?
Yeah,
they should just all burn. Like, let the galaxy burn, baby.
Hell yeah!
All right, Chaos lover, little mini Abaddon over here.
Mini Abaddon.
Don't compare me to Abaddon, that salty bitch.
So here's my thing about why I actually like Primaris.
All right, lay it on me.
So Space Marines are basically the one time that they are corruptible or like flawed or weakened in any way is when Chaos gets a hold of them, right? And obviously that happened mainly in the Horus Heresy, but rarely, on occasion, you'll have a chapter like Go Renegade, Badab War, and all that stuff, but it is rare for a chapter to fall, and they have an entire system built in to catch that kind of thing. That's why you have the chaplaincies in place. That's why you have like Inquisitors, that like an entire wing of the Inquisition is to like keep them in line and check and everything. And then, so like to me, that puts them in kind of like a it's almost like a Superman style boring category, where like, okay, they fucked up that one time, but it's rare for them to continue to fuck up. But so check this out, the Primaris project that Cawl did is basically like a big like fucking mystery box, right? He could have put dead man switches in all of them. He could have like put fucking Manchurian Candidate style stuff in all of them, and that puts really good intrigue in there. And they played on that when, like, even still in the books today, the Primaris and the Firstborn don't always get along. It's very chapter dependent on if they integrate them or not. Yeah. And
weren't there chapters that just straight up murked all of the Primaris guys that showed up the first time? Didn't
so
the Black Templars do that?
There was a Crusade of Black Templar that the Primaris showed up, and they were like, oh yeah? This is heresy. And they killed all of them. Until it took, what's his face? The High Marshal. Helbrecht.
Yeah.
Helbrecht finally was like, you guys need to all accept this, is my word,
I mean, even the custodians
Primaris.
don't trust them. So there's a story, I don't remember if it's a book or a short story, but like, it is the custodians running out with, I think it was called like the Gray Fleet or something like that, or basically the reinforcements getting out there. And I think it was called like the Bronze Dragons or the Brazen Dragons or something like that, or Brazen Drakes or something. Drakes and then Bronze or Brazen. Anyway, so they have a whole, basically a chapter and a half just on this fleet vessel going out there. They have some custodians in there. They have some Adeptus Mechanicus in there, and like some inquisitorial stuff. And I think it was like a rogue trader fleet was helping them out. And on the way there, the custodians find out through a burst transmission of just like on the grapevine that the group that they're delivering it to, that chapter got basically completely wiped out, and the survivors have turned to chaos. And the custodians trust that so little. They've seen these guys come out of like the tanks, basically. They turn to the Bronze Drakes and they're like, y'all are fallible. And the custodians apologize and then try to slaughter fucking all of them. And that entire ship turned into a bloodbath. No one survived. It was like 25 custodians taking on a chapter and a half, or excuse me, a company and a half. and the AdMech were in there too, and that ship basically just fell to pure mutiny because a hint of because who they were delivering them to fell to chaos and basically got wiped out / fell to chaos, and the custodians were like, we don't trust this shit. So the fact that it's a catalyst for the Imperium to kind of fall upon itself kind of reinforces that tragic theme, which I like. I also like that they can play with that for a very long time because no one knows what the fuck Cawl put in there, man. Like, Cawl is such an X factor, and he has the legions by the balls so hard with this Primaris stuff that I don't know, man. Like that is of a sense very intrigue and in its own way grimdark to me.
So do you think at some point maybe AdMech and the Imperium aren't getting along, and then he just says a code phrase and all the Primaris turn against the rest of the Imperium?
Hey.
Oh shit.
I'm saying, it could be something like that. And check this out. Something else that's kind of crazy. We haven't seen a Primaris Chaos Space Marine. We haven't seen a Primaris fall.
Not
I don't
entirely true.
I thought relatively recently that had happened.
Yeah, when Angron showed up. Yeah, when Angron showed up
during Arcs of Omen,
and he did his shit. Whenever he blew up that, I forgot what it was called. It was that psychic beacon. No, not the Rock. There's some psychic beacon that was driving him nuts. So
I don't remember.
It was kind of like it was basically like a way station for the Astronomicon. He blows it up, and the psychic fallout of that causes an entire Imperial fleet to fall to chaos, fall to Khorne, and start just butchering everyone who's not chaos.
Yeah, that was one of the Arcs of Omen stories.
Yeah, and there was a bunch of Primaris chapters in there, and they just all fell to chaos. Now, you could argue that it was extenuating circumstances, but it is possible for them to become chaos.
So the way that I read that, and it's been a while since I read it, but I read it that everyone saw everyone else as an enemy and they couldn't tell friend from foe. It was almost like a Black Rage thing. I wouldn't say that the Blood Angels are falling to chaos when they suffer the Black Rage, right?
No, but
it was basically
the excerpt I read. The excerpt I read explicitly said they fell to Khorne. That they dedicated themselves to Khorne.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, during Arcs of Omen, some Primaris Marines, explicitly fell to chaos.
Because it wasn't like they did it for a day or two, and they're like, oh shit, we went crazy. They started butchering people.
No, they all got wiped out.
Dabbing Khorne insignias, and then they were that's what they were after that, and they started flying around raiding stuff and killing.
I thought everyone in the sector died. I'm pretty sure everyone died in that. Vashtor got out, some Angron folks got out, the World Eaters, and then there was some Alpha Legion that was trying to sneak peek on Vashtor that got out, but there were Sisters of Battle that fell to this blindness basically, where they saw they couldn't determine friend from foe.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't remember which book this happened in, but it was a whole fleet of Sisters of Battle and Primaris Marines straight up fell to Khorne. The only people in that fleet that didn't get turned were Custodians, Sisters of Silence, and Grey Knights.
Shit. Okay. All right, then we have only one example ever of Primaris falling to chaos, which is not a lot compared to what we have of. Yeah.
But it was previously to that, it was believed, Primaris are chaos proof. They can't be corrupted by chaos, which is obviously not true now.
Yeah. So I mean, that might be one of the things that Cawl is pivoting on if you see Cawl as a malicious actor, right? I think he has his own self-interest that he's putting into the Primaris.
Yeah, totally.
Specifically, he's baking backdoors in. Now they may be chaos flavored. We don't know if Cawl is some chaos agent that's just playing the longest long game ever or anything, but he has his own self-interest in there. So
he does.
I think that's really cool. Yeah, I mean, dude, he does not. There we go. There's the man
There's
himself.
the boy.
Yeah.
Him and Traz the Infinite got a little buddy.
Playing
4D chess, man.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the things that I've always liked about the AdMech too, is that yeah, we work with the Imperium, but also if the Imperium decides they're gonna fuck with us, we're gonna nuke them all.
Oh yeah. But I am generally pro primaris because I like it, man. And I'm talking lore stuff. Obviously, the models look better.
So, like,
you know?
Yeah, the models are obviously good. Like
that's from a lore perspective. The lore is obviously just there to sell models. So I think that that's something that people forget about a lot, is that the lore is there specifically to sell more models.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, to some extent, they are also selling the lore. Like they make a lot of books. They're making shows. So I would argue that it's not just there to sell the models, because they have products that make them money that aren't models now.
It's primarily there to sell models. Sure.
It's primarily there to sell models.
There we go.
All right, hold on. Okay, I'm kicking Ryan out of this show.
Tactically there.
Whoa, wait a second. I'm just trying to be funny. Yeah, I mean, I think the reason primaris exist is because, honestly, they were afraid from a marketing standpoint to just release true scale Marines, which I wish they had done that, but I also understand why they didn't, because in my time in Warhammer, I have seen some wild and destructive reactions to changes in the models and the games by like the fans. So
those poor,
I think
Warhammer Fantasy Battle armies that got torched.
Yeah, they got torched.
If only they kept them. If only they kept them, they'd be ready for the old world.
Yeah,
yeah. He could have nailed me his army. I would take
shitty. What's it called? The
Cities of Sigmar.
Cities of Sigmar faction, like where you're playing with 1/4
Dude,
of the codex.
those new Cities of Sigmar models look so fucking good, though.
They do look.
Yeah, the new
they look so good.
Yeah.
But anyway,
but that kind of
I think
leads into another thing, I think, in that you can take all of your old Firstborn shit and pretty much there's a proxy. Or not even necessarily a proxy, but like there is a unit that is a primaris equivalent for those units.
Oh yeah.
So like, just take your Firstborn models and just play them as their primaris equivalent. I don't think anybody's gonna give a shit.
So they've said it in an article specifically when talking about Horus Heresy Firstborn. They were like, yeah, you can even use the Horus Heresy Land Raider as a 40k Land Raider. You can even use the Horus Heresy Firstborn as intercessors if you want. Yeah. And so, like, the fact that that's in a Warcom article
fucking
is like...
Predator Annihilator thing right here. I'm getting ready to paint it up as Dark Angels, I think. Either Dark Angels or Word Bearers.
I mean, that's a Predator.
Yeah, but it's the same thing. It's like a Horus Heresy model, and it's like you just take that model and you use it in 40k. Granted, like, I guess the Predator Annihilator technically has a datasheet in 40k. I don't know if it will for much longer, but if it doesn't, then I just run it as something else. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it could be a Lancer or a Gladiator Lancer or whatever, because those are apparently the hotness right now, and like no one can find them. It's interesting. So on that front, what do you guys think is going to happen to like the Devastator squad? What are they going to do with the fucking Devastator squad?
I don't know.
Yeah, so they're separating them out by weapon now, which is kind of how people played Devastator squads anyway. Like no one was taking. Yeah. So, like, you know, the Whitman Sampler Devastator squad, they were taking 4 multi-melters or 4 las guys.
Yeah, if you're taking melters, you're playing Eradicators. If you're taking missile launchers, you're taking Desolation Marines. Like, the equivalents exist.
So
I would make weird squads.
Well, you're fighting the good fight, Ryan. We all appreciate that.
Oh, man.
It's going to be interesting to see, like, what... Because they're pulling sheets out, right? Like, eventually they're going to pull the Devastator squad out, and it's going to be like, okay, is the community at large going to accept people running their multi-melt of squat Marines as Eradicators, right? Because the armor's a little bit different.
I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Yeah, me either, honestly. But I mean, like, the base size is different. Yeah. It's,
Yeah. I mean, right now, if you have like a heavy bolter Firstborn, you could, I guess, run him as a heavy intercessor with a heavy bolter.
Yeah.
If you have a missile launcher Firstborn, you could put him in a Desolator squad.
Yeah.
If you plasma cannon, las cannon, I don't think there's anything Primaris equivalent to that.
Hellblasters.
Hellblaster's like a plasma gun, kind of.
It's a
It's kinda
plasma
like
incinerator.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah,
in the-
if someone
in between.
was running Hellblasters and they had a dude in there with a plasma cannon, I wouldn't care. You know.
The last stuff that really only exists in the last Fusil version of the Eliminators, which is another kit that I like a whole lot. But yeah, that's where it starts to get kind of weird. You know, I think we're going to see like a Primaris las cannon at some point come out, and then, you know.
Yeah, I would be sad to see the tactical squad go away. I know some people hate like the tactical squad, like the idea of like an assault weapon, a heavy weapon, and then guys with bolters. But to me, that's such like iconic Space Marine, in the sense of like you have this 10-man squad, and like you could have them with like a melta-gun or a plasma gun, and then like a heavy bolter, and it's like they have like an answer for all situations. Like they're an adaptable force you could throw in somewhere, and they can move through and take care of business. They're not like just like one cog in the war machine. They are like the war machine. Whereas like an Eradicator squad is pretty focused on taking out vehicles. They're not
anymore.
Adaptable. Well, okay, well.
So
in theory,
I like
focused.
In the lore.
I like tactical squads from like a lore and flavor perspective, but I don't think they make sense from a game design perspective. Like having a squad that does like a million different things, but none of them particularly well, just doesn't make sense. As opposed to having just like individual squads that are like specifically for certain things. That's just me, I guess.
Yeah.
But to me, from like a lore perspective, yeah, cool. It makes sense. Like if you were to write a book about a squad of dudes, like obviously they've all got their own specialties, right? But like on the tabletop, I would much rather have one squad that's like these guys all have like fucking bolters. These guys are all like sniper guys. That makes more sense to me.
It's currently something that is it feels vestigial in the book because like you can bring tacticals, but they kind of punish you for it because you have to take them in the 10-pack, and
they don't want you to take them.
Well, yeah,
they're telling you nicely, please don't take these models.
Right, it's like please play with our other toys. And
I mean,
you know,
I guess it's just like a different style of tactics to have like adaptable squads, because you can like, you can equip like a tactical squad to be, at the best to be like anti-swarm focused, because like the bolters is kind of like an anti-infantry weapon, but you could have multiple squads with like las cannons, and then you could direct their fire at the targets as they show up, and then direct the bolters at the other targets.
You can go flamer, heavy flamer, and then combi flamer on the sergeant, and like really lean into that. Although they kind of screwed over combi weapon, not screwed over, but streamlined combi weapons to where it's like, y'all get devastating wounds. Please stop buying combi weapon bits on eBay for $4 a combi weapon head.
They made them less interesting. I understand some of the streamlining of things like that, but I also I miss like kitting out a Terminator squad with like very specific weapons. It's a sort of just a loss of flavor.
Guess you gotta play Dark Angels, homie.
Yeah,
we still got that, bro. We still got that.
Well, we'll see how long you hold on to that.
I guess we'll see when the Dark Angels codex comes out.
Yeah, it's coming out soon too. It's pretty rapid.
Next spring, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ryan. I think that there is like some loss on like lore to tabletop that happens there, but the other side of that coin is like people will always math out and be like, oh, okay, with points this way, you are stupid unless you take the combi plasma, and everyone needs combi plasma. All of a sudden, everyone's like, "Oh shit, I need 30 combi plasma," and they run out and they do that. Like Deathwatch, Sean, if you're still listening, dude, Deathwatch back in the day was like you needed a combi plasma and you needed a storm shield and you needed 40 guys like that, and it was like that was your army, and you're good for one balanced data slate until they nerf the fuck out of it, and then it's like the other side of the coin is like people are gonna suck all the joy out of that flavor and find where the slight efficiency is, and then just stack that until you get stacking efficiencies, and then. You know.
I mean, that's all well and good. I've studied all that kind of math. I understand all that, but it doesn't matter once the dice hit the table and you know, it breaks down a bit. And also, you're playing the game to have fun. Is the other side of it.
Right.
Wait, you guys play this game to have fun? Wait, hold on. Am I doing this wrong?
I just like the ability to like throw like a melt-a-gun into a squad on the, you know, because I could have this squad's like, yeah, this is my anti-infantry squad. I'm gonna use them for anti-infantry, but that's not necessarily my choice. I could try to use them for anti-infantry, but if Matt runs a dreadnought into them, and all they have is like bolters and anti-infantry weapons, I've got a problem. But if there's like a dude with a melt-a-gun and they're like, I might be useful, then he might be useful against that dreadnought and be able to blast it. I think it's like, I don't know. I like adaptable squads because I think it's kind of what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
You don't have control. You only have control over 50% of the battle.
Right.
Or really, probably 30%. 30% is what you do with your guys. 30% is what they do with, or 33.3 whatever percent is what they do with their guys, and the other part is what Daniel does to your dice.
True.
And you can calculate, optimize all you want, but if you roll a grip of 6 1s, you know
something's going away, and you probably don't want it to go away.
So
I definitely
might as well also have fun with it.
Well, we did
just crunching numbers.
Get a $5 super chat from our boy Sean.
Ooh,
Oh, says,
appreciate you, homie.
We just need a Tacticus or Gravis Devastator squad and an upgrade sprue for Intercessor special weapons, and the problem is solved.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that will reintroduce. So my thinking is, and I always try to do this, and I'm right about almost enough to where it keeps fueling this habit. But I'm trying to like anticipate what Games Workshop is trying to do with this fucking game, and I think they want the adaptability to be in the entire army, not like in one squad. So that's why they keep like bunching these things down into like, these are the flamethrower guys, these are the missile guys. And you can't take both in one unit. Please pick one or the other. And so that kind of thing, right? And that sucks because it's really cool to like tinker and go down the list of all the different like, you know, like Swiss Army knife configurations that you're able to pull off on a squad. I think that's half the joy of running armies like Deathwatch, right?
Yeah.
Or Chaos Marines.
Yeah.
Chaos Marines are still that old format, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it would be cool if they have all the specialized units, and then like an intercessor squad specifically, and maybe Assault Intercessor can take a limited list, but they could just like take like a Hellblaster dude in it. It's like
Sounds
they
like you want to
some
play
weird name for
Deathwatch. That's literally how Deathwatch kill teams work, my dude.
Well, yeah.
They have a scratching post for that itch, and it is the Deathwatch codex.
Yeah.
I just don't. I like having a chapter. It's like they're all like one chapter.
Yeah, make your chapter, make a chapter like a custom chapter that does that, and you just run them using Deathwatch rules.
Yeah, I guess I could, but
no reason not to.
You can call them the Longbeards. Be like, we did it in the old ways.
Okay. Just want to bust my chops for having played the game for a while.
Hey, chops are meant to be busted.
It would just be fun to like have the option to have adaptability, and if it's limited to like, there's like one dude, and you can make him one of these other dudes. Like, that's not that complicated, really. I don't think. Which I think the reason they are doing it the way they're doing it with Space Marines is they don't want it to be overwhelming, like all the options, especially for Space Marines, because Space Marines for a lot of people are the entry army.
Yeah,
you know, that's like first army.
Space Marines were my first army, so yeah.
I think they're yanking more data sheets than they're putting in because they retired like 19 and they're only adding like 7 or 8. I'm pretty sure.
I think we're net. Supposedly, the rumors are in the new codex, we're net down 23 datasheets.
Which is good, because
Good.
that shit should not be like that. It's chaos, dude.
But
seeing the
but,
unit card stacks next to each other, the Space Marine one's like, everyone else is like, beep.
Yeah.
But almost all of that's going away, I think, besides the Primaris Company Champion, is Firstborn stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And the Primaris Company Champion is being redone as a model in the
It's just being put into the command squad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a good point. I guess, we're going to have basically, like, firstborn refugees where it's like, please, sir, may I run this as a Hellblaster?
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing.
You know what you can do if you're firstborn and you hate the new Space Marine Codex? Make them all renegades, baby. Let the galaxy burn! Chaos has still got your back.
I'm rebelling against
Got that
playing
old
Space
style.
Marines, and now I'm playing Renegade CSM.
Call me
basically.
Badab, because I'm on a war path.
Hell yeah. Red Corsairs. Make them all Red Corsairs. The
There
old
you
school Red Corsairs
Raid those
were
supply
just
lines,
like,
baby.
Yeah, raid the supply lines. Red Corsairs are fucking rad. But the old ones, they were just like normal Marines with their old livery or livery, however you say that, with
I
just
think
like
it's livery.
saltires, just the
Yeah.
X's across their
Yeah.
symbols. And that was it.
I thought about making a Red Corsairs army that was just that.
Yeah.
If I gotta do a Badab War era, I'm going with Mantis Marines, or Mantis Warriors. Mantis Warriors, yeah, that's what they're called. Those guys, I'm almost positive they're Badab era, because they, like, did some pretty nuts shit. I can't remember what side
yeah.
they were on.
Yeah, they are.
Renegades?
They,
Yeah.
they were one
They-
of the ones that got kind of bamboozled by
Yeah.
Huron.
Yeah.
It was
But
the Mantis Warriors and the Firehawks, I think, was one of the other chapters. I can't
Were the
remember.
Nova Marines in there? I can't remember if the Novas were in there.
No, they weren't in there.
No.
The Astral Claws were Huron Blackheart, and there was the Mantis
Mhm.
Warriors, and a couple others that got. The Lamenters were one of the ones that got
Yeah, the Lamenters.
bamboozled
Yeah.
by. Of course,
Yeah.
they got hoodwinked by Huron Blackheart. I mean, hoodwinked's the wrong word. They understood the struggle that the Astral Claws were going through, and sympathized, and took the brunt of the Imperium's wrath.
They got emotionally manipulated.
Executioners? Yeah.
Okay.
Executioners
were
were
the
renegade.
executioners?
Firehawks were
renegade?
loyal,
Okay.
or Imperium.
Okay.
Oh, they were loyal. Okay,
Yeah. So
I know that.
Renegade side was Astral Claws, Lamenters, Executioners, Mantis Warriors, Tyrant's Legion, and Battlefleet Maelstrom. I don't know what
Tyrant's Legion
is.
is Tyrant's Legion is like his guard.
Oh, his PDF. Okay.
Yeah, because that was the big issue was that he wasn't given the gene seed, and then he blew up the ship that came to ask about it.
Oh, because
and
he
then
was
the
the
other
tyrant
issue-
of Badab. So okay.
Yeah. The other issue that kind of compounded it and made the Imperium be like, okay, we really got to stop this guy. It was he was setting up his chapter kind of more like a legion from the Heresy, with like infantry directly under Space Marines and stuff, like mortal stuff tied to the Space Marine legions, and fleets all tied to the Space Marine Legion.
Yeah.
Which is like the whole reason for the chapter thing was to avoid that. So they were like, that's not good.
Yeah.
We've seen this story before.
But
Perhaps in real life.
Huron Blackheart didn't do anything wrong. He never done anything wrong in his life.
The chaos is starting to drip. I'm starting to doubt all your theories from a moment ago.
Ryan's been a chaos agent this whole time.
I know, my God.
I don't feel like I've been particularly subtle about that.
No, not at all.
Thrown away.
I'm not Alpha Legion. I promise.
Well, now I just hate Babu Dakal or Dackle.
Whoa!
Damn.
Tainted him with chaos
Great.
by proxy. Yeah.
Damn.
But
But
anyway,
yeah, I think you're right,
uh,
and that it's kind of like they're doing a lot of this because Space Marines have become the de facto beginner army, and so they need to streamline them more. Because if you look at like CSM, Legionaries got a new kit recently, so it's not like they're gonna update that kit to remove all of their options anytime soon.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I do think that it is mostly because Space Marines are the beginner army, and if you want to like branch out into the weird shit, you either go play Deathwatch if you want to keep playing Space Marines, or you play like CSM or any of the other factions that can still do all the weird shit with their loadouts.
there is another reason why they're probably doing it. And that is because, and this ties into like why they did combi weapons the way they did. People have been busting their chops for a while about kits not having the ability to build all the loadouts, like combinations, especially things like Devastator squads. You know, it's like I can't make 4 missile launchers out of this kit. If every unit is like mono weapon, it's very easy. Just this kit has everything you need for the datasheet, and so no one's going to complain about that.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Totally.
That I think that's probably a big motivator.
Something I'm worried about actually is the sprue for the scouts, and this all goes back to scouts because man, I'm still not over scout snipers going away. God,
Talk to us about scouts, Matt. Let's make you feel better about scouts.
Oh God, I love scouts so much.
Did we get a picture of the new sprue for them?
Yeah, I think so. But so here's the thing. I'm trying to figure out, and I haven't been able to crack the code on when you build your sniper. Are you excluding yourself from also building and taking the heavy bolter? Right? Is it an either or sniper or heavy bolter, or can you double up?
You used to be able to like double up, right?
So sniper,
like an old
sniper scout squads could take a missile launcher or a heavy bolter, and but like everyone replaced their bolt gun with sniper rifles and camo cloaks.
Oh, okay. So if you took sniper rifles, you couldn't have a heavy bolter in there. You couldn't have
you could.
Heavy bolter.
You could in the old way. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you could have like the spec ops.
This is the new squad, right?
Yeah.
Man, those look good.
Yeah,
they do look really good.
As someone who is as a Black Templars player, which we've had Primaris scouts for a while now, I love them. I want you to love them too.
Yeah, dude, I'm all about them. I have a very if I had to make a third Space Marine army. Oh no.
Heavier firepower for missile launchers and heavy bolters, as well as a cloaked sniper.
Okay. So you can lugging missile launchers or heavy bolters, space, as well as a cloaked sniper. All right.
Yeah.
I have faith. I have faith that I can bring un sniper rifle as well as un missile launcher, and then 3 boys with shotguns ready to roll in the stack with the surefire.
So are you going to run 5 squads so you can still technically have a scout sniper? Oh wait, are they battle line? Scouts aren't battle line, are they?
Hell no, they're not.
You can only have 3 scout snipers.
I know.
The elite doesn't exist anymore.
I can take 30
sorry.
scout snipers. I can only take. It depends on if you do the 10-pack, can you then double dip? Because sometimes the data sheet allows you to do that, right? Like for every 5.
For every 5, you can take 2 of yeah.
So I would be up to 10 sniper rifles on the table.
Are scouts not battle line now?
No. I don't think so. So they probably won't be.
Yeah.
You know who is battle line? No. Black Templar scouts.
Oh my god.
Or as we call them,
they're not scouts, right? Yeah,
they are, but not
they're
really.
part of the Crusader squad.
Squires, basically. Yeah, the Crusader squads. I always love that about Black Templars, where there's
there's still 2 distinct Crusader squads, right? Like there's a Crusader squad and a Primaris Crusader squad.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think that's going away pretty damn fast.
I think that's going to go away when the Black Templars get their codex. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope.
You've got a year.
I hope they don't bone it too hard, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, 'cause I was building my Black Templars to have like a Firstborn Crusader squad in a Land Raider, and they had like a bunch of Melta and stuff. But now I could put Primaris in the Land Raider. I could do a lot of things with it. So the whole plan is changing. But
yeah, scouts and scout snipers are not battle line.
I hate it.
Damn. So you can only take 3 scout snipers in your whole army. Well, I guess 6 if they let you double up. But
dude, I have I want to say 15 various different amounts of eliminators too. Like I'm so lost in the sauce. Dude, I have so many.
I was about to ask, don't you have?
There were some things with the Primaris where you just like went super hard on them.
They're so cool. So here's the thing: you buy the eliminator kit, and then you're like, oh, dude, I have like extra backpacks and like extra guns and everything lying around. And then you look at the Reavers, and the Reavers are like, oh, I can kit bash you. You're garbage, but you are perfect to kit bash. And then you're like, Yeah, I could try, making a cloak out of some green stuff, and the cloaks mysteriously have giant thumbprints on them, but they work pretty good.
Use,
dude,
wet
I
toothpick to
butchered.
smooth that out.
Yeah, also you can like lay it down on if you squish it inside of a Ziploc bag, your thumbprint doesn't transfer. Eventually, I'm gonna rip off the cloaks and redo them, but I ain't got time for that right now. Especially with all these damn Tyranids stacking up that I keep 3D printing. I mean, sourcing legitimately.
Oh! Oh my god! So like, what makes you more enticed by scout snipers as opposed to like taking a bunch of eliminators?
They got sniper
Like,
rifles.
why wouldn't you just?
They're little dudes with big sniper rifles, man.
They got I like them both, and I want to take more. I just want to take.
Okay, you just want a bunch of snipers.
Dude, I want all.
Why do you not play Raven Guard?
Dude, that was my first Space Marine army.
He
Like
started
I was.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I hated painting black armor because it looked like trash whenever I tried it, and like the trick is like to play with a lot of grays and or blues rather than just black.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the patience to learn that. And then the contrast paints were like, hey, we're Black Templar contrast paint. And I tried that and I was like, this looks like ass, like all contrast paints do.
Yeah.
Just when you put it on raw like white primer, you gotta like play with it like slap chop and all that stuff. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna read about some other chapters. And then I was like, Blood Angels are pretty cool. So
it's part of why I don't understand why I got so much crap for bouncing around between Iron Warriors, Night Lords, and Red Corsairs. It's because Matt was Raven Guard, then he was Salamanders, then he was Blood Angels. Then I think he went back to Salamanders.
Yeah, but Matt's made his decision. He's settled now.
So
well, now he's got Ultramarines too.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm deep on Ultramarines too. But
he's got them both.
Yeah.
So if I just make an Iron
you don't have
and...
either Night Lords or Iron Warriors. So
I have a Night Lord
that's
army.
The problem. You don't have either one.
His chops are bruised. Leave him.
I have a Night Lord army.
I'm sorry about your chops,
look,
Ryan.
I'm
sorry
man.
about your chops.
I will say that I am in an army when I have painted like 1,500 points of something, right? Like I am in Death Guard, like by a fucking
where's my
unstable
spreadsheet that I made?
Oh yeah, let's see how many armies you're in.
Oh, did you finally get all your combat patrols put into it?
I got all my combat patrols and I forget what the other shit was that I was missing. Kill teams.
Oh yeah.
There we go. Here's where so all in.
Holy
this is where I'm at.
Oh my god.
The real painful thing would be if there was a way for this to calculate cost.
So
don't do it.
That would be hard considering that I've gotten a lot of this secondhand, and I've gotten a lot of this just like out of the fucking like value boxes and shit that they come out with. So there's not really a way to tell that.
And
I've been playing this game since 2020.
Probably, yeah.
I don't remember when
around.
It was when y'all got me into it, and I started building my Space Wolves. So that was probably about 3 years ago.
It might have been 2021, actually.
Well, no,
that's
we
even.
went to
It was
LVO
2021,
right?
Oh yeah, so it was 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you went hard, man.
So in the course of about 3 years, this is where I'm at.
That is, you are a friggin' machine, dude. That's powerful.
It's wild.
But yeah, I would say if you have 1,500 points of an army painted, you are like in deep on that army. So it looks like you're like what?
So it stops at Votan. As far as
what about for
1,600
points painted?
Points painted? Let's see.
Yeah.
So
okay.
That many.
And you're about to be all up in Mechanicus too.
Mechanicus, I'm literally about to start painting them as soon as the stream ends, and I'll be up. I should be up to
they'll be
2,000 points.
Yeah, we're rounding up.
by tomorrow morning, I'll be at 2,000 points on AdMech.
You savage! Oh my god. Yeah. I
need to crack my new airbrush out. See what,
Yeah,
see what it is.
dude.
by points owned, I'm into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 armies.
Yeah.
If you're going by the 1,500 point metric.
Yeah. This would be a fun topic, like a dedicated topic. I think this might need to be the next After Dark topic, actually. This is pretty fun.
What's
like
that?
just talking about like all the shit we got and all the shit we've done, you know?
I mean,
you're gonna make me tabulate my stuff.
I mean, not to.
I have this spreadsheet so you guys can make a copy of it and put your own shit into it.
It's not that
I'm
I'm shying from the work of doing it. Is I don't want to see the truth.
And this is the
I don't wanna
spreadsheet
know.
is also only the stuff that I have built. This isn't anything that I still have like in boxes or on sprue.
That's a fair way to do it because I mean, like, dude, I've got bags that I've gotten in like swaps because I'll go to swap meets, right? And I'll start doing trades. I've got bags that I know for a fact I haven't opened since I took it off that guy's hands, and he told me that there were X number of units in there, and I just like believed him. Like I got mystery bags that I moved here with that I was like, I legitimately don't know what's in you, and I have much better things to do with my time than to sort this bag right now.
Yeah, I have a bunch of like unbuilt shit, but anyways,
I'd have to leave some of my stuff out.
Yeah,
because it's secret project
you can't.
material.
You have to keep it in.
Ooh.
Just make a separate tab that's just like secret shit.
Yeah, much like the secrets.
Don't show the
of
contents of
Cawl.
it. You just show the points and how much you pay
All
and
right,
stuff.
yeah, I can just be a bunch of question marks with points.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. Cool.
And then I'm gonna like figure out what aligns with those points values, so I can figure out
All
exactly.
right, I'm not putting it in anymore. I'm not putting it in anymore.
We're gonna
putting it
data
in.
mine your set and just
No,
Yeah.
I'm leaving it out.
I don't have the patience for that. You know better. All right. Anyway, that's a topic for another stream.
Yeah.
I think we're good to wrap it up. We had a pretty good long conversation about Firstborn Space Marines. Are they dead, Ryan? Are they dead?
Like as in, are they going to be like removed from the game?
I said what I
Sort of
said.
like,
Are they dead?
Are they dead? They're not dead. They're not dead.
Hell yeah, Matt.
They're
Are
not
they
dead
dead?
in lore or tabletop at the moment. You want to know why?
Firstborn. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Because there will always be the Chaos Legions. Let the galaxy burn, baby!
Let's go, Chaos, baby!
Firstborn are never
Got a dog
dead.
in them.
Got the dog in
Say
'em.
it again.
Firstborn
What'd you say,
are
Matt?
never dead. They only fade into proxies for primaris.
What is dead may never die.
Exactly.
Well, let us know what you guys think in the comments, and
Hey,
catch
Jordan,
us.
what do you think?
on-
Actually, real quick, because we did us.
I didn't.
Oh,
yeah.
Our
No,
Firstborn
these
Your
are
hot
dead.
take.
Firstborn aren't dead. Firstborn, yeah, I agree with Matt. When they become dead, data sheet wise, you just use them as proxies. That's it.
Chops confirmed busted. All right.
Yeah.
It seems like they're drifting towards ambiguity on who's in the armor anyway, so...
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which
It's
I
whatever-
like better, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah, whatever your headcanon is.
Yep.
That's all that matters at the end. Whatever gets you at the paint table and rolling the dice.
Hell yeah, brother.
Whatever slams your sector.
And we're gonna slam your sector on Monday when I've got Imperial Knights versus an army that I haven't decided yet. Probably Dark Angels.
Yeah, probably.
Are you going to remember all the night rules this time?
I'm not playing Knights. Elliot's playing Knights.
Oh.
We'll make a cheat sheet for him.
And he's taking several big Knights, so I have a feeling he doesn't know that the Bondsman ability got changed. So I'll have to
Oh,
make
yeah,
sure
that
he
should
knows that. Anyways, have a good night, y'all. We'll catch you next time.
Hell yeah.
Take it
Y'all have a
easy.
good one.